Hello and welcome to Yorkshire. My name's Jim and you're watching Guitar Talk Unedited. So the topic of discussion today is going to be Gretsch Guitars. You can go online and look at specific reviews of specific guitars which they make and sell. This is going to be like a broad overview of what do Gretsch guitars sound like and where do they kind of like fit in the guitar world, because they're quite a sort of a unique style of guitar. I always sort of think to myself, if you had Fender guitars here and then on this side you had Gibson, so Gibson would be like quite rich, maybe a little bit darker, more sustaining sounding guitars because of the humbuckers, and then over this side you've got the bit more spanky, clean Fender style guitar. I always think that the Gretsch fits somewhere in the middle, maybe, even though they have got sort of Filtertron humbuckers, it sits a little bit closer to the Fender camp. If I had to sort of sum up Gretsch guitars, it would be trebly, focused and fizzy kind of top end, and really, really spanky. They've been used, obviously, by quite a lot of famous players over the years, from the Beatles to Brian Setzer. This is the Chet Atkins model. A quick history of Gretsch. I think they came to real popularity in the 50s. I think you found a lot of country players, a lot of fingerstyle players used them. I can't play either of those kind of genres of music. If you want to see some really impressive guitar playing, type in Chet Atkins into YouTube and he's just absolutely amazing. Finger playing, fingerstyle playing, he's really, really good. And this is his signature model. That said, Gretsch guitars really rock out. They are absolutely perfect for kind of hard rock, rock and roll kind of type music. The reason why originally I wanted a Gretsch was because I really love that ballsy early AC/DC sound. I'm not really a fan of their latest stuff with Brian Johnson. To me, the last good album that they made was Highway to Hell. But anyway, the rhythm guitarist, and he's like the band leader, this guy called Malcolm Young, he wrote a lot of the riffs. He played a Gretsch, I think it was a Duo Jet, which he completely stripped back. So he took out everything except for this one pickup basically and replaced, the Bigsby on it. He just had, I think he had a badass stop tail bridge or something. And he put on like size 60 to 12 strings or something crazy like that. He was a real ballsy player, just played rhythm. If you listen to his sound on those early AC/DC records, it is just, to me at least, it's how the electric guitar was designed to be, played and how it should sound. Anyway, I'll give you an example of that kind of style sound. I'm going through a small Marshall JMP 1C, which is an all-valve kind of mini plexi. Sort of, I think they marketed it as like you can have this plexi style amp at home. Anyway, it's pretty loud. It's got valves in. It's made by Marshall, so it'll do the job. So to me, that's a great sound. It's got a lot of crisp, fizzy top end, which is kind of making the amp compress a little bit. There isn't actually that much gain on that, believe it or not. It's just got a lot of articulated high end. So Gretsch guitars typically are either quite a slab style, solid bodied guitar like the Duo Jet, or they are a completely hollow body like this sort of arch top style guitar. So unlike the, let's say, a Gibson 335, there isn't a center block going through this guitar, and these aren't kind of wings. This is completely hollow everywhere. So the advantages of that, you have a very, very resonant guitar. Like, it's like playing an acoustic guitar, effectively. Disadvantages of that, if you're playing with a bit of gain and quite loud, they feed back like a mother. So I've heard of players in the past putting, you know, old socks inside there, but you know, it's just one of those things you've got to listen to, really. I've got to live with, really. So yeah, this is obviously a completely hollow body guitar. Now, the configuration of the tone controls, I'll go through it now. This is quite typical of Gretsch guitars. Not all of them have this, but a lot of them do. Instead of having like a tone knob that you roll up and down, what you've got is a three-way selector switch for tone. So when it's in the middle position, like it is at the moment, that is the equivalent of the tone wide open or fully on, if you like. When it's knocked back like that, that's like turning your tone down to 6. When it's all the way up like that, I think that's the equivalent of turning the tone, rather, I can't even get my words out here, turning the tone to maybe number 2. So disadvantage is you can't get, you know, the tone rolled off specifically how you want. Advantages, and they're pretty, I think this is quite a worthwhile thing to have, is that you can quite quickly go to those settings that you want. Just give an example of how that affects the sound. So just for a bit of reference, we're still on the bridge pickup here, so I'll just play a chord. So this is like turning the tone down to 6 now. And then this is like turning it down to like, I don't know, 3 or 4, or maybe 2. I think with the neck pickup engaged, and with the tone kind of on the selector switch in this position, so that's like having it at 2 or 3, you can get quite a nice sort of maybe B.B. King-esque sort of tone. It's a beautiful kind of warm sound. While we're on this pickup, the neck pickup, you'll notice that there still is a bright crispiness that we heard with the bridge pickup, but then there's also this kind of, it's less aggressive and it's a bit smoother and creamier. So. If you use the Bigsby, you can get some really nice kind of like almost dreamy like chords. So I'll just demonstration of those now. If you roll down the volume a little bit, just take a bit of that sort of gain off, keep it on the neck position and take some of that tone off with the tone selector switch. Play some more like kind of jazzy chops. If you were, I don't know, in a sort of run-of-the-mill indie band, again, there's lots of sort of useful tones that you can get out of this guitar, like. So I'll briefly talk about the different options or the different models of guitar which Gretsch offer. So if I get any of this incorrect, please just comment in the comments section below and correct me, I guess. But I reckon I'll be near enough accurate. They do 3 sort of types of guitar, if you like. They do 3 ranges, I should say. So you've got the Streamliner, Electromatic, and then the Professional series. So the Streamliner typically would cost maybe around about £300–400. In dollars, I'm guessing around about $500. They're really good guitars. I think they're made either in Indonesia, in China, or they're made in both places. And they're pretty good guitars. The next range up is the Electromatic series. Now these in the UK go for around about £700, maybe a little bit more, and I guess in America they go for around about £1,000. They're made in Korea in the infamous World Musical Instruments factory. I can't remember if that's its exact name, but they're made to a very high quality. And I've played a few of these guitars, and they're really good. I mean, for £700, you couldn't really buy a better guitar. However, to me, they didn't quite sound like a traditional Gretsch. They didn't have that kind of focused. Oh God, what's going on there? Amp issues. I'll get back to you. Hiya. Back again. Don't quite know what happened there. For a moment, I thought I'd blown up my amp. I haven't blown up my amp, which is always good. I think what happened is that the power cable, or the extension lead I should say, which I was plugged into, I think that's knackered. So we're all good. I can't remember exactly where I was in the video, but maybe just to sum up, they also look great as well. Just thought I'd mention that. Gretsch guitars look absolutely fantastic. Even if you spend £300–400 on the cheaper Streamliner model, they look fantastic, and they've got such a vibe to them. You know, I know you shouldn't choose a guitar on anything else but how it plays and how it sounds, but you know, they do look really good. So what I'm going to do is, because I've completely lost the plot. No, I'm just going to play a few different licks to kind of demonstrate what these guitars can do. I'm probably going to play a little bit more rhythm than I normally would, just to demonstrate how great they are, you know, in that spanky AC/DC hard rock style. So I'll probably play a bit of Malcolm Young style AC/DC just to start off with. I will attempt to play a little bit of country style as well. I'm not saying I'm pretty good at this sort of genre of music, but I'll give it a go. Maybe play a little bit now using the Bigsby just to demonstrate. Bigsby's are kind of totally different from, let's say, you know, Floyd Rose, totally different from a Strat tremolo arm as well. Maybe some of the Duesenbergs, which I've seen recently, they're more akin to like how a Bigsby sounds. But yeah, quick demo of this. Luscious and thick sounding, that really lovely. So Gretsch guitars have a really kind of articulated sound, which to my ears at least, when you pick, notes kind of come out really true and clear. I suppose a good example of this would be Johnny Marr's guitar playing in the Smiths. He's a fantastic guitarist, that quite unique in the respect that he does a lot of picking. Doesn't do as much lead as you would think, but he gets a really articulated and clean and clear, crisp kind of sound. So I'll try and demonstrate some. I'm not going to play like Johnny Marr, God no, but I'll try and demonstrate what I mean by about the articulation.